Out of desperation and need, I created something, whether it was like selling drugs or selling fitness. I remember thinking always, time is money.
Welcome to prison. Everything I do is a 4-count exercise movement. When I'm doing a jumping jack, I'm gonna go up. 1, 2, 3.
My name is Coss Marte. I grew up in the Lower East Side, born, raised, still live here, probably gonna die here. So I sold coke from the year 1999 all the way to 2009. At 19, I was making over $2 million a year. I first ended up in the system because I was growing up in this neighborhood. This was a very heavily drug-infested neighborhood back in the day. When I was a kid, my mom didn't have much, and I would ask her for things, and she would deny me things primarily because of money. And so I felt like money was everything. I would do all types of stuff, like collect beer cans from all the neighbors and exchange them for nickels and bodegas, and go to the corner and open up the fire hydrant and clean cars for it. At 13, I started dealing weed, and then I moved up to coke and crack pretty quickly at 14 years old. I changed up my appearance. I started wearing a suit, tie, and just started marketing. And I actually made business cards. I started this whole 24-hour delivery service. Somebody said that I started like an Uber Eats before Uber Eats, you know? I remember I needed 7 cell phones because each phone only held 1,500 to 2,500 contact numbers. And I was just surprised that I got caught. I remember walking out of the house and this detective, he called me by my name. And we're in the middle of the South Bronx. And as soon as I turned around, the guys just like grabbed me, threw me on top of my hood. And that was it. I ended up getting 7 years and 5 parole. My son was 2 years old at the time, and I was not out there for him, and the drug dealing didn't stop for me. And I got in touch with a guard, he started breaking stuff in. The system didn't stop, my mentality didn't stop. It was not towards the end of my incarceration where I felt like I had a spiritual awakening of some sort. So when I was locked up, that's the first time I saw a doctor. And she was like, your cholesterol levels are through the roof and you have high blood pressure. If you keep living this lifestyle, that you could probably die of a heart attack within 5 years. And I was like, nah. It just started dwelling on me that I was being sentenced to 7 years, and she's telling me that I probably have 5 years to live if I keep eating the way I was doing. And so I decided to go out to the yard the next day, and I remember just started running. And then I eventually lost 70 pounds in 6 months. And I started catching the eyes of other inmates. Towards the end of my incarceration, I had a situation with this officer. This officer decides to put me on the wall. He said, today's not my day, don't fuck with me. They put cuffs on me and they take me to the box. I remember the officer coming to my door, and he opens up the food slot and passes me a paper pen and an envelope. So I quickly grabbed that and I started writing a letter to my family. I remember enclosing that letter and realizing that I had no stamp to send out this letter with. And it was not until a couple days later where my sister writes me a letter and tells me like, hey, we found out you're in solitary. All I want you to do is read Psalm 91 from the Bible. And I was like, the Bible? I don't want to read no Bible. I don't believe in that. I need a lawyer. And while I was reading that, a stamp fell out of my Bible. And as soon as that happened, I felt like chills ran down my body. I felt like there was something bigger than myself for the first time. And at that time, I was like, how can I pay back to society in a certain way? How can I do the right thing? I was already helping these inmates in the yard work out, get fit. I helped over 20 inmates who was over 1,000 pounds combined. So I took that same workout method and I was like, I'm gonna write this down and start a business plan behind it. And so I just kept writing and kept writing what I wanted to do when I came home. So I have a book that I pretty much wrote in solitary confinement and just did it. I was released from prison in 2013. I went in with a flip phone, came out with a touchscreen. It was really difficult for me to even get a job. I think I filled out over 100 applications and didn't hear back from anybody. Or just, they told me that they couldn't hire me because of my criminal record. So it was frustrating. I'm just a person that doesn't like to hear no. And I learned a lot of this stuff, I guess, naturally through like seeing like my mother hustle. She was just not afraid of like asking. And she always said like, if you don't ask, you don't eat. So like that's the mentality I always had. After a while, like I was doing the stuff in the park. I basically used like a lot of transferable skills that I used from the streets. When I started selling drugs, like it was just basically consistency, showing up every single day with a great product. I was doing it twice a day out there, faithfully every single day, like for 2 years. And I thought I made it when I had like 5 people with me, you know. Eventually in 2016 was when I opened up our first facility. It was extremely difficult to get. It was like a basement under a Buddhist temple. And this lady just said, you know, I want to take a chance on him. I like what he's doing, and I believe in second chances. So part of my business plan is to hire people coming out of the prison system. Some people thought it was crazy. Some people in the neighborhood thought it was crazy. At that time, like that was just not, you know, that was not a sexy thing, you know. People started interacting with people that have never met anybody that's been incarcerated. It just really started changing perceptions, and that's one of my missions today, is like really changing the perception of what people see a formerly incarcerated people to be. So it's been a crazy journey. It's been 9 years almost, you know, just like grinding it out, figuring it out, and seeing things happen.
Holding those feet up 6 inches off the ground and breathe.
Our slogan is "Do the time," and behind that is basically we did the prison time. We dedicated time to like get fit and work out while we was in there. All you need to do is just dedicate a couple minutes, an hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, just to move. Just dedicate that time. That's all you need.